In a quiet little corner of suburbia, two very different neighbors lived. First, there was Bodhi, a scruffy terrier whose life revolved around one thing, his squeaky. It was a neon orange, gloriously obnoxious dinosaur toy, and to Bodhi, it was the greatest treasure in the world. He'd spend his days growling playfully at it, pouncing, and parading it around the yard, his tail a blurry propeller of happiness. Watching all this chaos from her kitchen window was Jinx, a sleek and sophisticated Siamese cat. She found Bodhi's antics, well, vulgar. All that noise and drool, Jinx preferred a more refined sort of play. Her prized possession was the feather, a single, iridescent peacock feather on a delicate wand. It rested on a velvet cushion, a treasure she'd pounce around with silent, balletic grace. One sunny afternoon, disaster struck. Bodhi, in a burst of pure joy, flung his squeakosaurus through the air. It soared, it spun, and it landed with a soft thud right on Jinx's pristine velvet cushion. Jinx froze, horrified. "You barbarian," she whispered, flicking the toy off with a single, disgusted claw. Bodhi trotted over, oblivious. "Sorry, Jinx. Hey, your feather thingy looks fun. Wanna swap?" "Just for a minute?" Jinx stared at him, utterly aghast. Swap a feather of 1,000 dances for a slobber-lugged monstrosity. The idea was offensive. "Hi," Bodhi said, a little hurt. "Squeaky's not a monstrosity. You're just scared your feather isn't as fun." That was it. Jinx's pride was wounded. Her eyes narrowed. "Scared? I am not scared," she hissed. "I propose a challenge, a true test of toy superiority. The great swap. We exchange toys for one full day. Whoever is first to return the other's toy loses, and must publicly admit the other's toy is superior." Bodhi's competitive spirit lit up. "You're on," he barked, and so the swap began. What followed was a comedy of errors. Bodhi had no idea what to do with the feather. He tried to chomp it, but it just bent. He tried to shake it, but it flopped, limply. He even tried to dig a hole with it and snapped the handle. "It doesn't do anything," he whined. Meanwhile, Jinx was having an equally terrible time with the She tapped it. It squeaked, and she jumped 3 feet in the air. She tried to bat it gracefully, but it bonked her on the nose. The constant squeaking completely ruined her sophisticated stalking routine. Later that day, they met in the yard. To pictures of pure misery. Bodhi was bored out of his mind, and Jinx was listlessly pawing the squeaky toy. "This is terrible," Bodhi admitted. Jinx agreed. "We could just call it off," Bodhi suggested. Jinx was tempted, but her pride was too strong. "A deal is a deal," she said, trying to sound confident. "Besides, I'm starting to understand its primitive charm." I told a lie. "Yeah, me too." Bodhi lied right back. "The feather is very floaty." With a new, fake determination, they decided they would learn to love these new toys, no matter what. Bodhi went inside to begin his cat training. He tried batting the feather under the fridge, but it got stuck. He tried stroking it silently, but his claws click-clacked on the floor. He even tried lying on a high shelf to gaze at it mysteriously, only to fall off. In the garden, Jinx tried to embrace her inner dog. She attempted a joyful run, but it looked stiff and awkward. She tried digging a hole for the squeakosaurus, but had to stop every few seconds to clean her paws. It was a disaster for them both. Frustrated, Bodhi took the broken feather to the park, where he ran into the Baron, a massive, wise old Saint Bernard. "Baron, help me," Bodhi pleaded. "How do I make this floaty silence fun?" The Baron opened one sleepy eye. "Ah, the Jinx feather," he rumbled. "A toy of subtlety. You cannot conquer it, young Bodhi. You must listen to it." Bodhi was confused. "Listen, it doesn't squeak." The Baron smiled gently. "Not all songs are heard with the ears. Don't chase the joy. Let it find you. Bodhi sat down and just watched the feather twirl in the breeze. For the first time, he wasn't trying to do anything with it. He was just observing, and a strange, calm feeling washed over him. Hiding behind a bush, Jinx overheard everything and looked at the Squeakosaurus with new eyes. As the sun began to set, they met again in the backyard. The mood was different. Bodhi was gently making the feather dance in the evening light, admiring its beauty. Jinx was sitting with a squeak. She gave it a hearty bat. It squeaked, and instead of flinching, she let out a tiny, almost unnoticeable purr. They placed the toys on the ground between them. Your feather? It's not so bad, Bodhi said softly. When you're quiet, it tells a story. Jinx replied, and you're squeaky. It possesses a certain, unrefined exuberance. It's honest. So, who won? Bodhi asked. Jinx gave a genuine smile. I believe we both lost the challenge, but we may have won something else. Just then, a gust of wind snatched the feather and sent it sailing over the fence. At the exact same moment, Bodhi's owner opened the back door, accidentally kicking the Squeakosaurus right down a storm drain. They stared in horror at the empty spots where their beloved toys had been. Without a second thought, they became a team. It was the great rescue mission. Bodhi started digging frantically at the storm drain grate. Jinx leaped over the fence, her sharp eyes spotting the feather caught in a thorny rosebush. Lift me up, she commanded. Bodhi boosted her with his nose, and she carefully freed the feather. Back at the drain, Jinx reached her slender paw into the muck. I can feel it. Say, Create. With a combined effort of Jinx pulling and Bodhi cheering, they rescued the wet, muddy, but safe Squeakosaurus. Standing in the moonlight, a mess but triumphant, they held each other's precious toys. Back in the yard, they laid the toys side by side on the velvet cushion. They were a little bent and a little dirty, but they were more than just toys now. They were treasures they had fought for together. I believe this is yours, Jinx said. This is yours, Bodhi replied. But they didn't grab them. You know, Bodhi said thoughtfully, we could not swap back. We could be joint guardians. Jinx considered this coners an interesting proposition. Bodhi gave the Squeakosaurus a gentle squeak and offered it to Jinx. Jinx made the feather dance for Bodhi, and then they started to play. Really? Play. Not dog play or cat play, but their play. It was a wonderful, chaotic mix of chasing, pouncing, squeaking, and dancing. They were having more fun together than they ever had alone. As night fell, the two friends curled up together, fast asleep, with the Squeakosaurus tucked under Bodhi's paw and the feather protected by Jinx. They had lost a challenge, but found something much, much better. A friendship. Thanks for watching. If you loved Bodhi and Jinx's story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more adventures.